Okay, well, certainly is now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just so that we have the record straight, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to do this slightly differently. And the reason I wouldn't do this way to begin with is everybody's PC is going to be different, or everybody's laptop is going to be different. So one other way of highlighting text is you just touch the text and you drag down. Or you touch the text and you go down with the arrows with shift. If you press shift and you go down with the arrows, it allows you to capture the text. Okay, so either you can drag your finger down or you can go down and up with the arrows, and that helps you capture the text. So what we did was we captured the text in, first time around we captured it using the select all button. You can capture it using the keys as well if you want. We changed the text to Arial, we changed it to 12. Then what we did is we aligned it. And then what we do is we go to the paragraph and we changed it to spacing 6 before, 6 after, and 1.5 spacing between the lines. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do is it's another formatting thing that you will use, and that's inserting headings. Okay, now there's 2 ways to insert headings. For those of you that are relatively new or aren't really confident in using Word, one way of doing it is you just take the heading, highlight it, and put it in as dark color. So you bold in the text. And you can write 1.1 in there if that's what you want. You can write, you can give it RA or whatever it is you want to give it. That's one way of doing it. And then you go to the next heading, which is down further. If you scroll down, you go to that one, and you can bolden that. So you can bolden all the headings. That's fine. Another way of doing it is you highlight the heading, right? And you go up here, which is at 5 on the scale of 1 to 10. And you highlight a heading. So you highlight, in this case, heading 1. Okay, so that becomes heading 1. The thing just to be conscious of, I'm going to unbold this, is that the next one is heading 1. You don't go from the first heading to the second heading to third heading, heading 1 to it. Heading 1 refers to a style of heading called heading 1. It doesn't refer to your first heading, your second heading, your third heading. So then you go, so all your headings come in as heading 1. The reason I'm suggesting that you get used to this, it's a little bit, it can be a little bit fiddly. So I would recommend that you don't do this until you're finished editing your document. So when you're just tidying up your document before you submit it, I would suggest you use this tool to put in your headings. The reason I'm saying it's good to do it is that it allows you then, just say you have this heading, employability skills, job specific. So if you want to put another heading in, you can put that in there and you can go heading 2. Or let me see, you can go down heading 3. So what it does is it gives you a hierarchy of headings. Right. I'm just going to show you, for those of you that don't know, a really important tool is up here at the very top is undo. Now, I'm sure you're all aware of undo. So what that does is it deletes the last thing that you did. Okay, what I really like to do when I'm working on a document is if I want to undo something, I don't use the arrow that I'm pointing to now. I don't use this. I've gotten into the habit of using a different way of undoing that I find really helpful. And that's, I press Control and Z. So I keep my one finger on control and one finger on Z. And when I do that, it undoes. So it just actually means I can do undo, which I tend to do a lot. I use undo a lot because I tend to make mistakes or try something out and it doesn't work and I undo it. So Control Z is how I undo things. So on Control Z deletes that. So the good thing about the arrow up here, if you've to undo a lot, it shows you all the things that you've done, and you can actually undo in bulk if you want to. So that's just the undo button, which is an important. Okay. The other thing, I'm gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna put heading 1 again. Just back up. The reason that the headings are important, lads, is one is that you can do subheadings and all of that. The other thing is when it comes to doing an assignment or a more substantial report or whatever, putting in the headings allows you to do tables of content very easily. I'm not going to do that with you today. I don't want to confuse issues with you. But any of you that know how to do tables of content will realize that it's much easier to do when you have the headings formatted in the way that I've just done it. Okay, so that's formatting.
Sorry, I put the headings in bold. Do you need me to change them into that blue color, or can I just leave it in bold?
You can leave it in bold, but as long as you're okay that you know how to put it into, yeah, that's fine. So what I would suggest to you is what a lot of people do, myself included. I leave them as you've put them in, Linda, in bold until I'm finishing and tidying up the document. Why? The reason is this, is that just say I put another, so just say I'm going up to the very top here, and just say I write something in here. What it means is that there's two formatting styles now in my document. There's the heading style and the body style. And that can become a little bit sloppy. It can be a little bit awkward. So it's best, in my opinion, to leave formatting headings until you're tidying up the document at the end. Okay. I'm going to move on. And there's another thing I'm going to just go through with you here, just before we move on, or before, is Word has an automatic correction facility in it, and there's two elements to it. There's the spelling and there's the grammar. Okay, so there's two ways. You'll notice in this, organizations here is marked in blue. There's a blue underneath it. And this word here is marked with a red underneath it. The blue means that word is suggesting a grammar change or some sort of syntax change. So what you can do, on one hand, you can go up here to number 1 or number 0 on the toolbar. And you can go to spelling and grammar, and it'll allow you to review the spelling and grammar. Okay, so what it's suggesting is that organization's success. So what it's saying, the apostrophe should be before the S, which is correct. Technically, grammar speaking, it's of the organization, so you can accept that. So once you highlight spelling and grammar, it goes through all the suggested changes. So what you're doing here is it's giving you a suggestion that it's saying, it's suggesting the word here is an alternative to what's there. So you need to read the documents. Candidates may have the qualifications and specific skills needed to be able to manage the job role, but without a well-honed set of soft skills, employees are less inclined to. Now, here doesn't make any sense. The word that's there doesn't make any sense. So you don't accept that, and we're going to come back to it. So what we're going to do, ignore that once. So communication, you can clear that, that's fine. Must is fine. Must, or you can leave it as have to be. So you go through each of them and you suggest whether the changes are acceptable or not. You can ignore them. And if there's an issue from a grammar perspective that is recurring that you don't feel is correct or is how you want to phrase things, you can ignore that type of check from future checks. Okay. You can keep going. You have to be able to find solutions for difficulties or setbacks. That's okay. Okay, so at the end, it'll tell you the grammar is correct. So what that leaves me is the one I didn't change that's still a problem is this one here. So I need to find a way of another word to put in there. So candidates may have the qualifications and specific skills needed to be able to manage the job role, but without a well-honed set of soft skills, employer are less inclined to employ them. Okay, so obviously I left a word out. Okay, so that's how you do your spell check and your grammar check. What I prefer to do, so I'm just going to mistype something there. So that shows up as a mistake. What I'm inclined to do is rather than go through all of them as it's outlined on the, in using the tool on the top left, you can go to the particular word, put the cursor on the particular word, and what you do then is you right click with on your pad, and it just shows you the suggestion for that particular word, and you can make that change to that particular word. It means you can fix things as you go along rather than doing it all at once, whichever way you prefer doing it. Okay, so that's all I wanted to do. I'm just going to show you one other thing that is useful, and we'll do it again in a second, is you can highlight this this whole paragraph. And you can, when you go to home, the scissors is the cut tool. So if you cut that, you take it out. But what it allows you to do is it allows you then to paste it somewhere else. Okay, so cut doesn't delete it. It just cuts it from where you've highlighted and allows you to paste it somewhere else. You can paste it as many times as you want. Okay, for any of you who prefer using, I'm just going back through this to delete those changes. So if you highlight that text, another way of doing cut is you press Control and C. And that copies it, or so Control C is copy, and you can, Control V is paste, sorry. So you can copy and paste by pressing Control C to copy it and Control V to paste it. Control Z then deletes what I've just done. The other cut using the controls is Control X is cut. You can go Control X and then Control V, paste. If you prefer using the keys, some people do, some people don't. Once you're getting used to it, if you're new to this, you'll get familiar with which one suits you better. Okay, lads, that's all I wanted to do with this particular document. Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, what I'm proposing to do now is I'm gonna give you another okay, so what I'd suggest everybody does is everybody takes that document, makes the changes that I've suggested so that the document looks something reasonably close to what I have here. You can use the headings as I've presented the headings, or you can use the headings in bold, whichever suits you, and upload it to Moodle. So there is a facility, there is a upload facility on Moodle, upload for exercise 2, 2020. So if you could upload that, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Those of you that haven't either your laptop with you or are going to do this in your own time, just upload it in your own time. Any of you that want to get it over and done with right now, that's fine as well.
Sorry, whereabouts is the spelling and grammar check?
Okay, so the spelling and grammar check is up. If you go to review, so if you look along the ribbon here and it's review, yeah, you click review and it's over at number 0 or number 1 on review, spelling and grammar. So it's under review. That's the thing that can be a little bit off-putting, is that all of these along the ribbon are different, I suppose. They show up different toolbars. So the review one is where the grammar check is. Another really interesting one or useful one is the word count. It tells you how many words are in your document. And the thesaurus, which allows you to highlight and identify alternative words if you want to, if you feel you're repeating.
Sorry,
yeah.
Paul, on my one is slightly different. I have to hit edit or editor to find the spelling. It doesn't actually come up with spelling and grammar like yours does. So if you click editor, you get the option of the spelling and grammar. It comes down in the menu.
Okay. Okay. So some of the versions of Word might be slightly different to mine. So yeah, that's good. That's good, Pippa. Thanks for that. I think an alternative might be as well if you just right click on the word in that or the issue that's highlighted. If you right click on that, generally speaking, all versions of Word will put you automatically into the spell check. I just, what Pippa raises is a really good point. Could I just check on chat? So anybody, I know I'm asking you to do 2 or 3 things at the same time now, and I'm really confident in your multitasking ability. So what I would ask you to do is one other thing, is in chat, if you have the exact same version of the ribbon across the top as I have, when you're at home here or when you're in review. So when I say the ribbon is the top inch, inch and a half of your screen. If yours looks the exact same as mine, put a Y in the chat. If yours doesn't look the same as mine, put an N in the chat. And that will give me a sense as to how many people are working off the same version of Word as I am.
Paul, my employability skills paragraph is different. I don't know if I missed what you said or. Okay.
It looks different, does it?
See, yours ends with less inclined to employ them. Mine is still like.
Yeah. So
what it was.
Don't worry about that. That's okay. The reason mine looks different is that I cut and pasted.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I just thought I missed something.
I flipped them around. I flipped the 2 sentences around and created 1 paragraph, but they're flipped. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me see. Okay, just going to give you a chance to finish that up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if that's okay. Okay, so there are a few people, good few people, using a different version. Okay, that's okay. Okay, That's fine. So I'm assuming that people just have a slightly older version or different version of Word. If that becomes problematic in terms of following what I'm doing, let me know. So if you're finding it difficult to follow what we're doing, just let me know. Okay, so what I need you to do is we're gonna keep going until about 10:30. And then I'm going to give you a task to do, and you can do it at 10:30. I'll still stay around until 11 o'clock. And if you have any questions, I can deal with you on a one-to-one basis. But I've one exercise that I want to do with you, and then I'm going to give you another document to edit, and you can look through it until 11 o'clock. And it's the document we're going to use. It's the document that we're going to use for the in-class test. So we'll go through that between 10:30 and 11. But if people need to go, they can go at 10:30 and do it in their own time if they're confident with this, with Word. Okay, so what I need you to do, is everybody okay to move from there? So we're gonna do another document, and I'm gonna show you a couple of maybe a little bit more advanced things that I want you to do within the documents. Is everybody okay with where we're at so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay, good. That's good. Brilliant. That's good. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so phase 2. Let's go back to Moodle, and I want you to call up exercise 3, 2020. Now, if for any reason you can't see these, you should be able to. It's in topic 2. Now, you will notice I've put up some links as well, and you can access those in your own time if you need to.
Exercise 3 isn't there for me.
Is it not?
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, hang on a second. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's not there for me either.
Is it not? Okay.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to change settings here on the document for a second, and hopefully you will all be able to get it. Okay, what you might need to do is just refresh the document and try and find it again there. Try refresh Moodle. So it's just maybe.
Oh yeah, it came back.
Is it there?
Yeah, for me anyway.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
If it's there for you, it's there for everybody, I would have said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's something that happens occasionally in documents, is that stuff that we can see, you can't see. So if at any stage somebody is, if you can't find something on Moodle, it might be that the interface that the lecturer is looking at and the interface that you're looking at are slightly different. So do just speak up and make them aware of that. Okay. So what I want to do, the document that you have opened in exercise 3 should start for you with turnout 2014 local elections. And okay, I'm going to go back to Zoom here and just share my own document witchy. Okay. Okay. So you should be able to see my Word document there. Yep, good.
Yep.
Okay, so what I want to use this, so if you look at it, it's not dissimilar to where we ended up on the last one. The font is slightly different. It's Georgia, you can see it up here. Again, what I'd be really, and that's a perfectly fine font. Some students like using elaborate fonts. Don't. I would recommend you don't. Use.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could head off there now for a while.
Okay, no, William, that's okay. Are you okay with this stuff? Is it something you're reasonably okay
Yeah,
with?
I've done this before.
Okay, brilliant. So what I'm going to do, Willem, is there'll be any upload facilities on Word. Just do, upload them and tell them. So that's fine. All we're going to be doing now from here on in is we're going to be doing some stuff on tables and pictures and stuff and images.
Yeah.
This will all be up as a recording, so if you need to go through it, you can.
No problem. Thanks very much, Paul.
Okay, no problem at all.
Good luck.
Okay. If I feel a little bit dozy, lads, I'm going to have to make a confession here. I was up watching the American presidential debate last night, and I have a 10-year-old who insisted on me getting up at 6 o'clock this morning to do her costume for school. Hence, anyway. So if I start dozing off in front of you, you can blame Donald Trump.
Daddy duties today.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going on this. The turnout in the local elections. What I want to do, you'll see the format and the font. What I was saying there is keep the fonts sort of reasonably straightforward. Don't go for elaborate fonts. This one is fine. Arial is fine. Times New Roman is grand. Calibria is another one that people use a lot, and that's all fine. All of those are grand. Don't try to go for sort of more elaborate fonts. Even in your headings, don't go for elaborate fonts. Use the fonts that are up here, or use the same font as you have in the text. So what I'm going to do on this document, it's the formatting is quite similar to what it would have been in the previous document. But the difference with this document is we have two things that I want to go through with you. One is tables, and you'll see numbers here that we're going to put into tables. And the second thing I want to look at with you is pictures. Okay, so we have pictures here that I want to sort of play around with a little bit and just show you how you might play around with pictures. Okay, so if you want to put in a table, and just say these figures here, the general election results, you want to put into a table. There's a number of different ways of doing it. Okay, I'm going to show you one way of doing it, and then I'm going to show you a second way that's, I'll show you a second way. I'll show you two ways of doing it. First way of doing it is to put your cursor flashing where it is you want to put the table, go up to insert, and go to table. Okay, now that should give you this dialog box. Now, what you do then, what this is telling you is the matrix of boxes is asking you for a design. So if you put your cursor on the corner box, press left click on your pressure pad and go across. So you want 4 columns and 3 rows. And then you take it up and that gives you a table with 4 columns and 3 rows. So what you can do then is take your data and copy it and paste it in. or write it in, however you want to do it. So that's one way of doing it. So you just make your table under the data and then transcribe your data into the table. Does that make sense? One way of doing it. So I'm going to Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. That's one way of doing it. Now, when you were doing that, when you went to insert and table, you could have gone down to insert table. And it then asks you how many rows and columns. That's another way of doing it. So 3 rows or 3 columns, 4 rows. It puts in a table like that. Okay. Now, usually, if you're putting your data in from another document, that's how you'll do it. So you put your table in, type in your data. The thing about this particular document is you already have your data here. Whoa. You already have your data. So sorry lads, could you just give me 1 second? Sorry about that. Okay, so you have the data here. Now what I do, if I already have the data in the document, I put a comma after each number. Comma, 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 comma. Comma, 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 comma. Comma, 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 comma. Now, what that does is it parses the numbers. What that means is that the computer recognizes that they're all different numbers now. To be honest, you don't really need to. The computer is clever enough that it probably will recognize it anyway. But just to be absolutely clear, because sometimes your number might be 51.646 or 43. So what you do then, once you have put the commas in and the computer is absolutely clear that you have, you highlight the text and then you go to insert table. And what it does, you'll notice now, is that it highlights the squares. And then you just go insert table. And what it does is it's put all of the data into the table. Now it's actually put an extra, there must have been a space. So if you want to delete that, you just highlight it. And let me see, you just go to delete cells. It's always, you go delete. And it just deletes the cells. So you can highlight and delete, or you can highlight and insert. So if I wanted to put other cells in there, you can insert to the left or insert to the right. Now, what causes people difficulty with this is that once you highlight, you go to layout. That's where you get the specific toolbar you're looking for. Okay? Is that okay? Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to put a row above as a title row. I'm going to put it above this row. So I go to layout and I'm going to say insert above. So I have an extra row up there. Now what I want to do is I want to merge all of these. So what I'm going to do is, so I'm just going to show you why I'm doing it, and then I'll go back and do it again.
Where's the insert above?
Insert above is you highlight the row, you go to layout,
Yeah.
and it's insert above is around 3 o'clock, or number 3 along the row. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so what I'm just going to show you, I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to highlight this, cut it, and put it into the table, and I'm going to center it. Okay, so now what I've done is I've put the title. Okay, sorry, that's not what I was looking to do. I'm going to take this out again. Sorry, Z. Okay, now I'm going to put this in as a title. Is census. Census statistics, and it goes in the middle there. So you can merge a row, and you can put one row or one column going across 4 columns. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another row in. Layout, insert above. Now these I can put comma, so these won't tidy up quite, so I can highlight this, copy it, and put it in there. Put national in here. Put Dublin in here. And put Connacht Ulster in there.
Oh, can you go into that insert above again? I don't think it's on my computer. I can't find it anywhere.
Is it not there?
Not that I can see anyway.
Okay.
Layout.
Okay, so I'm going to go to it again. I'm going to put this in here. So you highlight, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and you go to layout. Have you got layout?
Layout, yeah.
Okay, and have you got, is yours quite similar to mine?
No, it's really different actually.
Is it really different? And do you have rows and columns anywhere?
No.
And have you insert somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, press insert.
Yeah.
And has it inserted a new row?
No.
Okay, so what I'm going to show you is just a different way of doing it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so highlight your row.
Mm-hmm.
And highlight copy. Go to copy. Okay, so one of the ways I do it is Control C. Press Control and press C. And now press Control and press V. And it duplicates the same row. Does that make sense, Emma?
Yeah.
Did that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is copying and pasting rows just makes the row again. Now, it mightn't be as exactly as you want it.
Yeah.
But it'll get you a new row. And the other way of doing it, I just want to double check that, yeah, what you might do, say, when you go to home here,
Yeah.
is it similar to mine?
Yeah.
Okay, but layout isn't.
No.
Okay, and do you have layout?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a small thing. We'll have to look at how I'll.
Yeah, mine is the same as Emma's. I think I know what she's saying. It's like margins, orientation, size, and columns.
Yes. Okay. So it's slightly different, but so
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
That's what I have.
yeah.
I know there's another way, Paul, just if they have a similar one to me, if they just right click on the table and then it says insert, and then you have your insert columns to the left, insert columns to the right, insert rows above, the same as you do on your layout. So I don't know, girls, if you want to right click on your table, the insert.
Yeah, no, I got the
Oh
table.
yeah. That's
I
there.
got the table.
While we're on it has like the same as what Paul has, really.
Yeah.
Did that work?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's working now.
Okay. Thanks, Rebecca. And any of you that do have a solution, and if you see somebody having a problem and you have a solution, do, speak up, because I suppose the difficulty I have is if it's not in front of me, it can be difficult enough to remember back what the other version of Word or how it worked. So that's your table. And the things that you need to be conscious of that you can do, you can change the tables. So you can pull this out if you want. You can highlight the side, pull it out. So once you have your table there, there's a lot of sort of different things that you can do with it. One of the things that you can also do is, I'm just going to put another, you can look at this, it may not I'm going to insert another one above. So just say you wanted to combine, so just say I wanted to combine, to have one, make this into one cell. You merge cells. Okay, so what I can do then is I can say regional statistics, and I can center that. So what you can do is you can make your table look quite professional by merging cells. And if you want to unmerge cells, you can do that as well. So you highlight the cell, so you've merged this cell and you've changed your mind. So you can go back to layout and you can split the cell into two. And it goes back the way, roughly speaking, it's not exactly the way it was. So what you might need to do is you can pull this across and make it the same size. So once you highlight the line, it'll move things across. So what I'd suggest to you, there's loads of stuff you can do with tables. I'm not going to go into all of it now. Learn it as you need it. I could tell you loads of things that you could possibly do, but you won't remember them until you need them. So as long as you can do the basics, which is setting up a table, populating a table, and what we mean by that is putting text into the table, either typing it in or doing it the way that I did, create a table around the text. Merging cells, that's really, and inserting, deleting cells. That's really the main stuff that you're going to need. You can then, I'm going to merge these, sorry, just because it looks better. You can design, you can change the design of your cell. So there's all sorts of different designs you can use. So you go across here and just automatically change it. So once you've finished it in the very basic format, you can change the design and it can sort of fit in. What I would say to the table, what I would say to you in relation to designing tables is be consistent. Always use a single type of design in one document. Don't flit between different types of designs. Use a single type of design. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going to keep going down here towards the bottom. And now we're going to look at, that's tables. Now we're going to look at images. Okay, so we have two images here. First one is obviously upside down. If you haven't noticed that, There's no hope for you. So this one, it's definitely upside down. So there's a couple of different ways you can deal with it. So you highlight the image, and you have a little thing here, like with a twirl on it. And if you highlight that, it allows you to twirl things around. So you can put it in at an angle, or you can put it in straight. The other way is, once you highlight it, you can, go to Format, and there's an icon over here at about 9 o'clock, which is called Rotate. And it allows you to flip a document. And it allows you to do lots of different things. So if your document isn't the way you want it, that will allow you to flip it. Okay, that's one thing. The next thing I want you to look at doing is cropping a document, a picture. Okay, so you highlight the picture. Again, you go to Format. So Format is the tab that you use for messing with pictures. And you can go to Crop, and it puts, it gives you the corners, and you can go to your document, or you can zone in. And that's your document, or that's your picture change. Now, what I would always do with documents once I've cropped them is I go up to this. So if you go up to the toolbar again, and at about 1, 2, 3 o'clock, you have these 3 pictures, or 3 icons. The top one is what's called Compress. So what Compress does is it reformats your photograph, or the picture you've brought in, into a format that is less memory intensive. So it gets rid of a lot of the extra stuff that you don't need. And that's really useful, especially when you're doing PowerPoint presentations. The reason it's important in PowerPoint presentations is that if you lose a lot of pictures, you use a lot of pictures, your document can become enormous. So if you compress the picture, it helps keep the size of the document down to a manageable size. Okay, so that's your document. Now, what you can do then is you can resize it. Now, what I would say to you about resizing pictures is that you can resize it, make it fatter, make it thinner, make it taller, make it shorter. But if you want to keep the proportions of the document intact, and what I mean by that, if you don't want it to be a sort of distorted version of a map of Ireland, what you do is you go up to the corner, you highlight the corner, and you drag that out. And it makes it bigger, but holds the proportions. And that's important. It's an important tool to use, because it means then that your picture remains the same, but you can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, so you can play around with that. What you do is you left click, and you drag you drag the arrows in or out. That's one thing. The second thing I want to show you in documents that's quite important and is really useful is this little thing here. Okay, so it's the layout options. So when you highlight the layout options and you click on it, it gives you a whole different way, a different series of ways that your picture can be integrated into your text. Okay, what does that mean? What it means is that if you choose this way, so this way is, it'll put it in, and it'll Okay, so I'll show you. So say the middle one. This is the one I like the best. So what it does then is you can take your document. So you've created this layout within the document. You can take your picture and you can move it up, and it can sit into your text rather than being separate from your text. And when you're doing an essay or when you're doing a report, that's really useful, because it means then that there's not big blank spaces in your report or in your essay. The other thing that you can do is, if you take this as, there's another one here, which is here, if you look at it, and it's on the bottom center. And what that does, it makes your document, it makes your picture a watermark. So it creates the background, it makes your picture the background to your text. Okay, so if you have it as a watermark, say the flag of Ireland as your watermark, one of the things you can find is if you're moving pictures between pages, one of the best ways of doing it, I tend to just push it up and keep pushing until it goes up. You can lose it sometimes, but another way of doing it is just cut it and paste it into a different page. So what you can do is, if you wanted the flag of Ireland to be the background to that text, you just put the flag in as a watermark, and it becomes the background to that paragraph. That's most useful if you're doing posters or if you're doing visual documents rather than doing essays. You wouldn't really use this if you were doing essays. Okay. Is that okay? So that's really what I wanted to look at with you around tables and pictures. I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to finish with you. Is just say I want to take this text, and this is something that you'd use a good bit in. Just say I want to take this text and I want to put it in its own box. So I want to take it out. So all the counties there, I want to take them out and put them in their own box. What you can do is insert text box. And I tend to always go for the first one because it's the most simple. So you go for the first one. And what it does is it creates a box. And then you can take your text, you can copy your text, or cut your text, or however you want to do. So cut your text. I use Control-Z, you can use the icon over the way, and you just put it into the box and you paste it. Okay, sorry, that didn't work. Sorry, for some reason it didn't copy it. Okay, so I put my box up here, I go to my text, I highlight my text, I cut my text, and I paste it into the box. And then I can reshape the box to whatever size I want with the text in it. And I can move it around my page. I can make it smaller and put the text in it smaller if I want. Or bigger. So however I want to format that box. So it becomes a sort of a separate piece of text that you can play around with. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Okay. Is that okay? So what I suggest that you do is make those changes. So there's 3 basic things to do. Is make your table, flip around the map of Ireland, and put the other map of Ireland in as a watermark. And once you've those 3 things done, you can upload that to Moodle as well. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to do that. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to put you into I'm going to make up just a few rooms for the next 5-10 minutes. And you can just accept going into the rooms. And if you're having any problems, maybe you could problem solve and we'll come back and then you can tell me what sort of issues you're having. So I'm going to put you into rooms of, let me see, 4 people. And I'm automatically put you in. So you can have a chat. If everybody's okay, that's fine. I'll just leave you in there for 5 minutes and then we'll come back. And if there's any issues have arisen, you can let me know. Is that okay? So just chat among yourselves about those exercises. Michael, not sure, can you hear me? Oh yeah, cool.